Today, we need to spend our money for little luxuries, like rent and food. But don't worry, I'll keep the sparkle in your life with this beauty. I'll show you how easy it is to make today.
So, what's new? Starring folk sewing authority, Mr. George W. Tripod.
Now, this particular garment is a semi-surplus where it crosses over just slightly. And you'll notice that we have pre-assembled our facings, a right side one and a left side one. Always make sure everything is in pairs. That's a pair. And you'll notice we have also put in our back dart, our shoulder seam, our back shoulder dart, and of course our back dart. We've pre-assembled all this because the very important part of this particular lesson is, of course, you'll be learning the neck facing, which I'm going to be putting on right now. So, this one comes to that side. It's right side to right side, right side to right side. And, what are you doing there? Peter, please, out, out, out. Right side to right side, and then we start pinning. Now please, when you pin, you match seams. Match this at the 5/8 inch point where the stitching takes place. We stitch there, or pin there actually. We pin here. We pin at the center front, and you'll notice that we have marked the exact corner. And we matched a notch there, and we are matching the center front here. Now please, whenever you people have pre-basted your interfacings as I have, we'll always be stitching from the facing side up. You see the ease in here? Well, we don't want that to stretch. Therefore, we stitch it from the facing side because the facings control the fit of the garment so that it doesn't stretch. No stretching, please. I'm again matching my shoulder seams exactly where the stitching is going to take place. That is called a joined seam. Good, good, good. And then here at the neck again. Then at the center front again. And then at the waistline again. And then midway, please. And any ease will be under there. Now, I put on the machine, please, and I start sewing on this side at the center back neck. 5/8 of an inch seam, regular stitch, please. What's the thread doing in there, please? Out. Then you look at that mark on my machine is that little circle. You come to the shoulder here. Notice how I turn this as I go around the curved neck edge over into that point, lift, turn, and then you come right on down the center front. Now I'll show you a trick to save thread. Oh, I love to save things because that's how I get all my diamonds, by saving. Nobody buys me any diamonds. Diamonds are girl's best friend, let me tell you. Right there. Then like, Oscar Wilde said, indulge in the luxuries because the necessities will take care of themselves. That's what he said. And turn around here and come on around the neck edge. Now, of course, as we come on around this neck edge, you all know the next step after you put on the facing, don't you? You do. Of course you do. Of course you do. You see, all in one. Now I separate. Thank you. The left side and the right side, please. Up off the floor. Now, of course, here we normally trim away to about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm trimming away. Trim, 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 trim. And now the neck edge. Trim, 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 trim. Trim, Avo. Trim, 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 trim. Lovely. And then the next one you trim. We trim away all the excess to about 1/4 to 3/16 of an inch so you don't have all that excess in there. No excesses, please. And you come here, stitch around here to the corner there, then here, 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 trim, 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 more pins, please. Now, normally, as you know too, when we have a facing on, and I will start this, but I want to show you the next step, we understitch. Well, you'll be understitching it all the way here, and of course the understitching is very, very important to keep up the facing, keep it up where it belongs, back where it belongs. But what I'll be doing now is turning this side of the facing. Then I talk to myself, I say to myself, George, if you were laying down that way, you'd be laying down like this. Oh, so that's the right side of me. And on a woman, it right laps over to the left side. So I have 2 center front notches here, and this is where my surplus comes in. I bring my facings back, and I match at these 2 points here where I stitch across here, and I have the surplus, and I'll be right back. Don't go away. I'll show you the rest of it. Now you'll notice that we've overlapped this, a surplus type front, and then you flippe-la, flippe-sa. Then we put our side seams together, and here we match the pyramids. Oh, the pyramids along the Nile. At least I got the whole line on that song. Some old girlfriend of mine remembered the whole tune. She told me. It was sung back in the 30s when I was just a child, so I don't really remember it, you know. There, and then the other side seam. Now I want you to notice that whenever I do the side seam, I always have the fabric towards me and the seam away from me, so that when I pin, the head of the pin is away from me. This is for me and for you, and you gals who use your right hand. For those of you who use your left hand, you would pick up the pin in the left side, and you would match a voila, and you would pin a vusa, like that. So now watch me. You've got to watch me very carefully. I'm going to be ambidextrous, or something like that. Ambidextrous, ambidextrous, ambidextrous. There, diamonds are a girl's best friend. Huh. Now they're making fake diamonds, like they're making fake everything anymore. Well, like Chapman said, there's never been a product made. Did you notice I pulled that out with my right hand? That's my right-handed side. Now watch the lefty come up there. Oh, you're so clever, George. I can't stand it. And notice I shortened the stitches I came to the end of that particular side seam there. Then we do the same thing with this side seam here. Notice the garment is always to that side of me, and the seam is to that side of me. And we pull the pins out as we come to them. You never sew over pins. They told me there was a sewing machine made that would sew over pins. Not over my pins it doesn't sew. It bend them right in the middle. Then, of course, you lovely ladies will go to the ironing board, plug in the iron, and you will pressez-vous, please, your seams open. The more you underpress as you stitch, the lovelier your garment will be. Now we'll be putting in our sleeve. And our sleeve is over here on the horse. It's on the horse, not the horse's mouth. I think you get things on the horse's mouth. Never looked a gift horse in the mouth. Oh, that's got to do with diamonds, hasn't it? Diamonds, 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 diamonds. Now look, the sleeve has been pre-assembled. The hem has been put up. It has been pinked, top-stitched, and then, of course, caught here by hand with an invisible slip stitch. We've put in our easing gathers here on the sleeve, and having followed the instructions of the pattern very, very carefully, we came between 2 dots, And then we skipped across the top where we see a large O. I'll put a pin there. I can see it. I hope you can see it. And then, of course, again, the easing between the two O's. This is so we keep the sleeve on the true grain line in two directions and flat at the top. Then the ease will come where we need it for room and lift and whatever you want to do with your arms, you know. You don't go around washing walls and garments like this. Now, once again, we look at the sleeve and we find that the pyramid square is here. This is the right side, and this is the right side. So I lay this down this way, the sleeve first. I look into the armhole here, the right side of the armhole into the right sleeve area. Then I match the underarm seam to the underarm seam where we join the seam where the stitching takes place. Then you pin there. Of course, when I was young, I never thought of saving, you know, because I was very bratty. I used to paraphrase everything, and I'm awfully sorry to inform you that I used to say, bread cast upon the water comes back soggy. Oh, terrible thing to say. I should have saved for my diamonds in those days, you know, but I didn't. Sorry about that. Now look, I'm matching the two outside edges here, and I am pinning here at the ease points. Now the ease is to allow ease in a roll like I have on my sleeve here, this tailored sleeve. This is a tailored type sleeve I'm putting in. A set-in sleeve. I'm matching the two notches here, notice. And the ease is to help control the excess we need in there for the roll to give us more room, you know, for doing all this stuff. Otherwise, you'd go like this and you'd hear, rip, rip. And you know, as the Bible says, as you sow, so shall ye rip, and I don't want any ripping. Then we come right here and we pin here and pin here. Then there's a secret way of sewing in the sleeve. Now, of course, this is a sleeve with a cap. Not the kind you wear on your head. A cap. When I do the men's sleeve shirt, you'll notice that it does not have as high a cap. It's a straighter sleeve because a man's more active. More, I don't know what he's more active at, but they say he's more active, so now I'm active too, but I don't go around swinging my arms around all the time so things rip out. I'm starting at the underarm seam. I put the presser foot down, I take the pin out, and I start sewing. Now, it's straight sewing from here on up to the point of where those easing stitches started. Regular stitch on your machine, please. When we arrive to that stitch point, please, these two fingers are your best friend. No, I'm telling you, your two fingers are your best friend. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. Dog is man's best friend, let me tell you. Now look, as you come here, it's a pulling apart and pushing. Because if we didn't, we would get tucks and puckers in there. So I'm pulling apart. I'm leading this one stitch right under the needle. And notice no puckers. No puckers at all. Gorgeous. Oh, George, I'm telling you. I don't know where I set in the sleeve, where I learned to set in the sleeve. Yes, I do. I used to watch all those operators when I was in the garment industry. And I would watch and watch and watch. Now, of course, there is a machine on the market. So if you have enough diamonds, you can buy that machine. I think it costs something like $7,000. You adjust a gauge here and a gauge there, and it automatically, if you have 2 inches ease in the sleeve, it automatically puts the ease in the sleeve, and you don't have to put any of this kind of stitching at all. But that's a far way off. Now, of course, to reinforce this, we can put in a second row of stitching. And let me show you. Isn't it lovely? There's my set-in sleeve. Of course, we'll press all this. And I'll be right back while I'm pressing. Don't go away. With the skirt. And, of course, the important thing about this lesson today is putting the bodice to the skirt and, of course, this built-in pocket, which is part of the pattern itself. And, of course, we stitched one side already, and I'll be stitching the other side to show you where and how and why we clip. That's the important thing in life, is how, why, and where. Yes, there. It's the secret of designing, too, you know. You want to wear a dress. Where are you going to wear it? Where? To a wedding? To a party? To the market? To washing the dishes? When? Day? Night? Winter? Summer? Fall? I'm designing a dress, so stay with me. Where? When? And you're learning how. The why. Why do you need it? Diamonds are a girl's best friend. You need it to get some diamonds, you know, to feel good. Good for your morale. Now watch as I come up around into the corner here. And whenever you people come up into a corner like this, any corner, even at home in a corner, when you're in a corner, don't come right up to the corner and then turn and try to get out of the corner. Pick up the presser foot, and with the sewing machine, that's such a small stitch, take one stitch across. And I'll tell you why in a minute. If you stay with me for a minute, I'll tell you why. So we got to get this thing ready in a minute, because I said 1 minute. And I don't like to say people more than 2 minutes, so go on, 1 minute. My Lord, that was a noisy minute, wasn't it? Vibrating scissors and all. Now this is the back of the dress. So I put me an X there. Oh, I put me all kinds of signs. Because we clip the seam to the back only. On the back half of the garment only. To there, both at the top and at the bottom of the garment. And the reason for that is that when the dress is to the front of you and you put your hand in your pocket that way, the stitching here releases that so the pocket will lay forever forward. Oh, oh, oh. Now what do? You press the seams open. You press as you go. You'll never get diamonds if you don't press your seams open, let me tell you. Now, the bodice, which of course we've pre-assembled, and I put one sleeve in for you, and Rumpelstiltskin put in the other sleeve, let me tell you. Now, we have here our center front notch, and we have here our 2 large circles. And we match right side to right side, center notch to center notch. It's like a road map. You must do it properly. Be terrible to put the center front on the side seam. You'd have to walk around like this. That would be no good. Then you'd have to go to the chiropractor and to the osteopath. Now we've come to the side seam. Open up the side seam of the bodice. Open up the side seam of the skirt area. Lay them together right side to right side, and then you match the seam where the stitching takes place. And what do we call that? What? A joined seam. You join the seams, honestly. Write it down. Write it down. Write 50 times. Joined seam. And if I don't join the seam properly, how can I join the army of gals with diamonds? Now, match the notch. There will be some ease here. Match the notch. Open up this dart seam. And here you'll match the large circle of the bodice to the large circle of the skirt. And to make sure that your dart remains open as we're stitching it here, let us lay it open and let us pin it open, first on one side and then on the other side, like that. Lovely. And then, of course, I know about the other girlfriend, you know, who had a double date, a blind date, you call it, and asked her best girlfriend to meet the blind date. And the blind date was really for her, but the girlfriend thought the blind date was for her. So she stole the boyfriend away from her. And now we pin the side seams together. And then the girl started apologizing. And the girl said, look, honey, it doesn't matter. Never apologize. Never apologize. Your friends don't need it. And your acquaintances could care less. So, now we'll sew the waist of the garment to the waist of the garment. Of the bodice of the skirt, George Trepon. Don't talk in parables. You're not in England, you know. Now we bring the presser foot down and stitch across the waistline, all the way across. The darts have been pressed. The back darts face the center back. Our side seams are open. And as I pull here and push, and I am pulling and pushing, I'll show you how in a minute. Notice there's some ease in here. So I'm pulling and pushing. I'm pulling and pushing the ease. I'm controlling it. No tucks, please. This bodice waistline and skirt waistline has no pleats or tucks in it. So please do not make any in it. You pull and push. It's almost the same principle as when you are setting in the sleeve, because you see you have the fabrics that are cut on certain biases of the fabric, because the dart took that in and threw it off at a different angle. Now I make sure that I'm catching nothing under here that shouldn't be caught, and I'm continuing right on across the waistline. I'm at the center front. I'm starting around the other half now. Oh, I'm telling you, if you plan ahead. Now, George Trepon, why did you pin all this? Because I don't want to. That's why I don't want to. I don't have to pin if I don't want to. Well, you know, the secret of life, as I've said before, it's doing the thing you have to do at the time you have to do it, whether you want to do it or not. And that's what brings diamonds. That's what my mother always says. And you come across here, all the way there, there. Pull the pins out, never so over pins, all the way, please. And you come over here, pull the pin out, all the way, all the way. And then we have one little trick. You followed your instructions very, very carefully. You'll come back around to the center front here, and you'll find the two large circles, dots. And you'll clip there and there, because when we press this, we'll be pressing one in one direction and one in the other direction. And there we have our dress. Isn't it lovely? And I'll be right back. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Giving you the diamonds, but a flexible braid, which of course you'll buy. Ciao now. You stay with me.
Promotional consideration provided by Vogue Patterns and Unique Zippers.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend, but today we have to spend our money on little luxuries like rent and food. Don't worry, Vogue Patterns has put sparkle in your life with their beautiful pattern number 8679 with the plied glitter trim. I just made this one, and it's easy. In fact, before I knew it, I had the dress all sewed up and was applying the glitter. Get Vogue pattern number 8679 wherever Vogue patterns are sold. Then go out and dazzle everybody.